Hi. Today I just felt like filming a little video that's very relaxed. I'm not putting a tripod, I'm not doing anything. And I wanted to talk about something that really helped me lately. I've been using this way of living, let's say, for the past, is the second month now, the second cycle. And I think both men and women can obviously resonate with this. There's two ways to work with the moon in the way I see it right now. I was gonna say I'm not a professional, but I think we all have this innate knowing within ourselves, whether we studied it and researched it for years or we just feel it. And I think it's just important to tap into that self-trust. I used to think that working with the moon is difficult and it's something that's additionally on my plate and something that makes things more complex. And that really isn't the case. It actually makes things easier and it makes things clearer. It makes events in a way categorized automatically, and there is a great deal of overthinking that is just erased because I'm a great overthinker, and I'm learning not to be. I'm learning to just trust, because I think overthinking, as my lovely coach says, is underdoing. When I was talking to her about when I couldn't sleep, there's periods, when we can't sleep some nights, when we have insomnia. And she was talking about it, and she said, overthinking, you can't sleep because you're overthinking. And she told me something life-changing. She was like, overthinking is underdoing. Or was it underacting? Yeah. And that made so much sense, because the days when I do take action is the days where I can just, I give the best of myself and I really truly feel the day. Is the days where I can just put my head on a pillow, daydream for 5 minutes, and then I'm asleep. And those days when you're not doing anything, not because you're depressed, just because you're not doing anything, you're not showing up for yourself, you can just twist and turn. I think it's because you have that untapped potential and that untapped energy. Where I saw a woman talk about this, and she said that the energy, for example, you get an idea and you're very inspired. If you don't act upon it, that energy is going to stay stuck in your body and it's going to become something else. It's going to become disease or anxiety or sadness, because it's there, it's stagnant. I guess it's like I was going to say a lake, but maybe a fridge. Like, you put something really, really good in the fridge, something really yummy, like fresh strawberries, right? The sweetest, most beautiful, juiciest strawberries, right? And you're really excited to eat them, but then you forget about them because maybe you went out to a restaurant or whatever happened. And then 5 days later, you open your fridge and you see those strawberries in the back of the fridge and they're rotten. And I feel like that kind of could be the analogy for like a great idea coming up into your mind, and then you kind of just forget about it. You don't act upon it, but that energy is still there, right? So that's very interesting. But why am I talking about this now? How did I get to this point? I don't know, but interesting fact. If you want to check out my coach, I will put her website in the description below and her Instagram as well. I really recommend working with her. She is amazing, and she's also my friend. I'm so grateful to be working with someone who's so open and so, I don't even have the words, but I was in therapy for 5 years of my life, just in psychotherapy. Every time I say psychotherapy, it makes me feel like I'm some sort of psycho. But yeah, it was just seeing a normal psychologist. And don't get me wrong, this woman has gotten me through so much, and she was such a loving presence in my life. And I was in a very strange relationship at the time, and for 5 years this woman saw me grow. She helped me. She really helped me take action to the best of my ability in that moment. And I really don't want to compare the two, but I'm saying there is a specific path for every, let's say, episode of your life. There is a specific tool that's gonna fit you best. And I feel like with the energy that is within me right now in this era of my life, in this healing era of my life, normal psychotherapy wouldn't cut it for me. You know what I mean? It would feel kind of like that energy that has nowhere to go, and that's not being channeled correctly. In fact, that's why I quit the therapy. This lovely woman helped me graduate. She helped me write my thesis that was taking way too long. I mean, it took the time it needed to take, but in my head, it was dragging on and dragging on. But I'm so glad that now I have this other tool, without, we can be grateful for what we have without diminishing the impact that the other thing had. Okay, just one more thing. I feel like psychotherapy was something that was more of a cocoon, and that was more of a safe space to hold me within a lot of pain and just a lot of understanding. Here with the life coach, it's very action-based, and it's also a very safe space, but it's actually completely different. You really cannot compare. But anyway, if you want to check her out, I will leave the information in the description. And one of the tools that my life coach taught me, and just, opened a kind of world, is working with the moon. I'm gonna make a little thing. Okay, so here we are with our piece of paper. I'm actually holding the notebook with my foot. This is how much I don't want to set up. But I do want to explain this. So we have the full moon day, which is today. Yesterday, today, doesn't matter. Then we have, and as soon as a big lunar event, let's say, starts, that's a week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So the full moon day, on this day, the full moon week begins, right? So this period lasts a week. 7 days. And each phase lasts 7 days, and this is a month, right? So after the full moon, we have the waning moon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Also 7 days. After the waning moon, we have the new moon. So in between, what she made it clearer for me to understand, was when she explained that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Between the full moon and the new moon, there's 2 weeks. 1, 2. You see? And each phase of the moon starts during that day when this happens. You know what I mean? New moon, and also 7 days. And then we have I wanted to fit this all in one page, but it's not gonna work. Then we have the waxing moon. So it's when it's growing, right? Also, 7 days, right? So that's our little diagram that looks absolutely horrendous, but it's okay. It's okay. Each phase of the moon corresponds to a category of life, per se. So each phase of the moon, each week that we just looked at, corresponds to an aspect of your life you're gonna focus on. So it's the second month that I'm actually living like this, and it's been life-changing. So the phases are, for example, for the full moon day, we have 7 days of focusing on cleansing. No, sorry. The full moon day is all about the full moon week, starting on the full moon day, is all about witnessing what you've manifested into your life. You just witness. This is how I understand it. If you have additional information or a way, I don't see it as additional information. I just see it as insight and as ways to perceive it. Because there's so many ways, I think, since we are all so different, that we can work with the moon and that we can perceive this information. It's not about the information, it's about the perception of the information, I think. So if you have some insights, some interesting ways that you do things, I would love to see your comments. I would love to, and this is not just to get comments, it's nice to get comments, but I truly and authentically just am saying that I would love to actually have a conversation with people about this that are also using this way of living and how they apply it to their lives, how they see it. So the full moon week is about witnessing what you've manifested. And it doesn't have to be what you manifested during the last full moon, or because you're always manifesting, right? But it's important to remember that you could be manifesting from a ritual or an intention you set 6 months ago, right? The first week, and there is no first or last week, right? It's just depending on when we talk about this, right? And the full moon is yesterday. So that's why I'm saying first week. And it's all about witnessing what you've manifested, right? The second week is the waning moon. So 7 days after the full moon day, we have the waning moon. The waning moon is all about cleansing, detoxing, letting go. And at the beginning, this was a little bit confusing for me because isn't a full moon meant to be that, you know? But I guess not. I guess I'm just gonna trust and see.
Yeah, I feel like a full moon is great. Yeah, to see what you.
Fuck it.
All I have to tell to myself is that we don't have to understand everything. We can just feel it. Okay?
Purification and letting go, cleansing.
I definitely made a mistake there. That's fine. The dog is growling.
Cleansing.
The next week is the new moon week. So 7 days after the waning moon starts, we have the new moon week. And the new moon week is when there's a new moon, basically. The new moon week is focused on, what is the focus? Oh, of course, setting intentions, planting seeds. So if there's something you want to initiate into your life, something you want to bring more attention to, this is when you're going to plant those seeds. In whatever way you want to do it, this is what you're going to do during that week. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that on a waning moon you can't plant seeds. And it doesn't mean that on a full moon you can't purify. Obviously, you're going to do some of all of these things during all of the phases. But what's great about this is that you see the events in your life come for a special reason. Nothing is random. And you know what to do with them. If they really make a mark upon you, you really know why they're here and what they're showing you. New moon is
for planting seeds.
My handwriting is usually cursive and better than this, but I'm filming with one hand and writing with another and using it to hold my sketchbook open because I didn't want to set up my space, but it's okay. All right, and the next phase. The last phase is the waxing moon, and it's when the moon is growing into a full moon and then the cycle starts again. So 7 days after the new moon, the waxing moon starts, and we have, I think, one of the most challenging aspects, if I think challenges will come in different ways depending on where you are on your journey, obviously. But it sounds like the most challenging one, let's say. The waxing moon is the test. So it's a week where you're going to get tested by the universe, whatever you want to call it, whatever you believe in. You're going to get tested on the seeds that you've planted during the new moon. If you really want it, are you ready to do what it takes? Are you ready to embody what you need to embody to be that person? But you could be tested about anything, really. You could be tested not only about what you've planted in this cycle, but you could be tested about something you planted 6 months ago, you know, because everything happens in divine timing, and it's not, things come to you when you're ready and when you've embodied that vibration, right? So the waxing moon is about tests, getting tested, seeing if you're ready to embody everything that you want. I hope this was helpful for you. I know this is not much information, but I feel like I've babbled for enough time. You know, this really helped me because I used to be very confused, as I said, about what information I should know to be working with the moon. I just saw all these different moon phases, waxing, gibbous, all these weird names. And so I always saw a lot of, you know, always started watching, always started educating myself on it, but never finished because it seemed too complicated. But you don't need that much information because you have it all ingrained within your being. So just having these four little stages with these couple words to describe each stage unlocks something within you, and you can then really it cleans up every little corner in your brain house, let's say, if that makes sense. All the dust is gone and you've made space to, because instead of overthinking of, oh my God, what's happening this week? Why is this so weird? Why is everything testing me? Why is everything so annoying? Oh my God, why do I feel so peaceful? Maybe you know, oh wait, this is the full moon week. Oh, why I feel so peaceful? I manifested this into my life. How come, you know? Oh, this is strange. My parents are driving me crazy. What is this all about? Oh, it's the waxing moon. Okay, it's building. The waxing moon is building. It's building tension. You see what I mean? So, and it all makes sense if you think about it. It really does. And yes, if you think about it, I was saying also earlier how I would have thought that the purification, the letting go, is during the full moon. But no, it makes sense that it's on a waning moon. The waning moon gets smaller. So that's when, you know, you make space for things that are really important. So you purify everything that is not needed. So yeah, that's my little speech of the day. Kind of a very disorganized and chaotic speech, but nonetheless, I'm here, I'm showing up, and I'm leaving my trace onto the world. And I really hope you enjoyed. I know that next time this is going to be a little bit more... I'm trying to make a thumbnail. It's going to be a little bit more organized. I will actually set up my tripod, but I feel like if you don't want to show up fully, and you can just show up like this. It's a full moon tonight. It was a full moon last night, actually. And so I'm going to I already started reflecting so I can let go of a certain situation in my life, but I have a whole ritual planned, and I'm so excited to just... Sometimes rituals can feel a bit heavy, in the sense like you don't really feel like doing it, but I know that once I do it, I'm going to feel so much better and so much... I don't like that word, feeling better, but I'm going to feel liberated, and I just know that it's something I have to do. Some full moons and new moons, I don't do any rituals. I just let myself rest, because everything can be ritual if you put your intention to it. But yeah, maybe I'll make a video about full moon and new moon rituals at some point.